guys, Kristen here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to do the mid-year book freakout tag. That is a mouthful to say, holy cow. This tag was created a few years ago by two channels, Read Like Wildfire and Earl Grey Reads. I will leave links to both of their original videos in the description section below. This tag is all about the books you've been freaking out over for the last 6 months and the books you are freaking out over for the upcoming 6 months for the year 2017. Before I get started with the tag, if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, why don't you go ahead and do that? And at the end of the video, if you like the video, give it a like to go ahead and let me know. All right, let's get started with the tag. Question number 1. Best book you've read so far in 2017. So this was very tricky. I've had a lot of 5-star reads in 2017 so far, so I went with the one that really took me on the most emotional journey, that I stayed up late to read and I read the fastest, and that was The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. This is a pretty big deal that my favorite read of 2017 so far is a contemporary. If you've been watching this channel, you know that I'm all about the fantasy books. That's pretty crazy. I feel like you should take away my fantasy lover badge or something. So yeah, if you haven't read this book yet, fantasy lover, favorite book of the year so far. Okay, question number 2, best sequel you've read so far in 2017. For this one, I'm gonna go with Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I had a really weird relationship with Six of Crows. I tried to read it 3 separate times. 2 of them were during readathons, 1 of them was as a buddy read, and I just could not get into the book. So I went ahead and listened to the audio of Six of Crows and I freaking loved it. I immediately started the audio of Crooked Kingdom and I absolutely adored it too. This is definitely my favorite sequel that I've read so far in 2017. Question number 3, new release you haven't read yet but you want to. For this one I'm gonna go with Roar by Cora Carmack. Because the girl on the cover looks so much like Dany from the Game of Thrones series, and the name is Roar, I thought for months this book was about dragons. I thought this was a story about a girl and about dragons, and it's really not. It's like storm magic and elemental power. I don't know when I'm gonna get to it. I'm really hoping sometime in the next couple of weeks because I'm just super excited about it. Number 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I don't know who has one answer to this. I'd like to meet that person. I have several answers to this and I feel accomplished just to have narrowed it down to 3. The first is obviously Tower of Dawn, the next Throne of Glass book, because I am obsessed with the Throne of Glass series. I love that series so hardcore. So Tower of Dawn is probably, if I had to rank them, would be number 1. My second choice would be Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I adore the Lunar Chronicle series and I loved her standalone book Heartless. So I am pretty ready to like sell my soul for a copy of that book. And then the third one is An Enchantment of Reasons? An Enchantment of Raisins. And my third choice would be An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. This book actually just recently came onto my radar. This is a really interesting YA fantasy about the fair folk, and it supposedly has a lot of romance. The main character is an artist who paints, and I don't know what it is. Something about this book has made me really super excited to read it, and it's actually one of my very next reads. So I will find out if my excitement is warranted very soon. Number 5, your biggest disappointment. I didn't really have a single book this year so far that has been a huge disappointment to me. So I went kind of in a little bit of another route. I listened to the audio for Starflight by Melissa Landers. I felt like it was maybe suffering a little bit of a first book syndrome, but I was really into the characters and I liked the writing style and I was really excited to keep going with the series. And then I found out that the second book, Starfall, follows completely different characters. They're like characters that still know our original main characters, but it like moves to a different couple kind of thing. I really wanted to continue going with the 2 main characters from Starflight, so that was probably my biggest disappointment. I don't know if I'll end up reading Starfall. If any of you have read it and you really liked it and you think I should give it a go, let me know. Number 6 is the biggest surprise so far this year. Overall, in the first half of 2017, the biggest surprise for me personally as a reader has been how much I've loved some contemporary books. I mean, you saw I Made the Sun Is Also a Star, my #1 pick so far of the year, and that's crazy for me. That's good for me. It's good to grow as a reader. It's good to try new genres that you don't read a lot and find new authors that you love, and I would not do that if it was not for the bookish community, for all of you guys, so thank you for that. I wanted to share some of the contemporaries I've read this year that have been 4- and 5-star reads for me. One of them, obviously, The Sun Is Also a Star. We already talked about that. Another one is The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertelli. Something about a book that focuses on like the upside of unrequited love, what you know is going to get like twisted on its head during the story. This was a really diverse book. It had a lot of really interesting characters. I loved this book so much. And the next 2 contemporaries are P.S. I Like You by Casey West and On the Fence by Casey West. I listened to the audio for both of these books and they were really light, fun, charming, sweet, funny YA books. Okay, #7 is favorite new author, debut, or just new to you. Because I don't ever follow any rules, I actually picked 2 for this. 1 debut author and 1 author who is new to me. So my favorite debut author so far this year is definitely Amanda Foody. She wrote Daughter of the Burning City that comes out at the end of July. I read an arc of this book and I absolutely loved it. It's all like dark carnival and magic and mystery and murder. That was a lot of alliteration, but I really, really like her writing style, so I'm looking forward to what else she has coming out in the future. And my favorite author who is new to me is Claudia Gray. I read Defy the Stars, which came out in April, and Claudia Gray has written like 1,000,000 books, and sadly this is the first one I've read by her. But I am really, really, really excited to read more of her books now because this was phenomenal, and I've heard that her Firebird trilogy is amazing, so that is going to be the next Claudia Gray that I give a try. Okay, #8 is your newest fictional crush, and for this one I'm going with Julian from Caraval. He's a little bit good, he's a little bit bad. You don't really know if he's going to turn out to be a hero or a villain throughout the whole story, and I love how often he puts our main character in her place, even though in real life I would hate that, but in fictional world I kind of just love his swagger and his mysterious attitude. He's definitely like the bad boy type, which I'm a sucker for in my fictional world. #9 is your newest favorite character, and for this one I'm going to go with Inej from 6 of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. Throughout reading both of these books, I often asked myself which of the 6 main characters was my favorite, and I think depending on which chapter I was in, I sometimes changed my mind. I love Nina's attitude. I love Jesper so much. I love Jesper Weiland so much. I think overall, Inej is like the unsung hero of this story. She just has like so much that happens to her and that changes for her. I love her wisdom and I love her calm demeanor. I love Inej. #10, a book that made you cry. The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. If you've read this book, you know that it has a lot of places in it that tugs at your emotional heartstrings and then rips them out and shoves them down your throat. I was like crying tears of sadness, tears of joy, tears of sadness, tears of joy. #11 is the opposite of that, a book that made you happy, and for this one I am going to go with the Casey West books, P.S. I Like You and On the Fence. These are happy books. These are really good palate cleansers to read between like heavy fantasy books or really sad emotional books. Like these Casey West books are awesome for that. #12 is your favorite book to film adaptation you saw this year, and I actually haven't seen any. So I'm gonna go with the one I am most looking forward to in the second half of 2017, and that is the movie Wonder. Now I actually have not read the book because it's more of like a middle grade book, and I usually don't read those. Since they're making the movie, it's kind of gotten on my radar and it sounds amazing, and the movie trailer makes me cry, so I am definitely really, really looking forward to that one. #13, favorite review you've written this year, or if you are doing this on BookTube, your favorite BookTube video that you've made so far this year. I'm not gonna go with one that like I liked the video so much, but I'm gonna go with my January book haul plus announcement video. That video is the first video where I announced that I was launching a subscription box company named Whimsify, and that video is just kind of special to me. Definitely gonna say that that video is always gonna hold a little bit of a special place in my heart, and I'll leave a link to Whimsify down below, and I'll leave a link to that video if you have no idea what I'm talking posting about. Number 14, the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or that you've received. So I'm gonna go with two, of course. The first is Flame in the Mist by Renee Attia. I love the cover of this. It's gorgeous colors, the phoenix rising type of image, the throwing stars at the bottom that lets you know it's not gonna just be like an all flowery story. I even really love the font that they put everything in. I just think that this is a really beautiful cover and it matches the story perfectly. Now on the other end of that is Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. I know a lot of people really love the UK version that has the bird on the cover. I like that one too, but I just really love the US version. It is so freaking dark. So much hidden meaning and so many layers, but it's so beautiful and it's so different from all of the other book covers on my shelf. I love it. I think it's gorgeous. And number 15, the last question for this tag, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Boy, that is the most loaded book tag question ever. I have like 30 books that I could answer this question with. I need to read Tower of Dawn. How am I supposed to answer this question? Truth Witch by Susan Dennard, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm not gonna tag anybody specific, but if you have not done this tag yet, and if you are interested in doing this tag, then I tag you, and I challenge you to do the mid-year book freakout tag. And if you do, leave me a link or hit me up on social media to let me know so I can go check it out. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time with a new one.